Hey guys, it's Cowboy. I'm pretending to be riding my motorcycle today to the store to get groceries to cook for supper. Only reason I'm pretending is because it's raining and we're having deer steak tonight, and I don't have to go to the store to buy that. It's in my freezer. Y'all come on and sit a spell and I'll show y'all how I do it. Hey guys, this is Cowboy. I'm cooking deer steak for supper tonight. This deer meat came from a buck I killed on my place back last winter, and we're going to fry it up for you tonight. Now the way I do it, it's a little different than some people, but it's really good and it's simple. Anybody can do it. And if you don't have deer steak, you can buy the cheap flank steak in the grocery store and use it and make a real good steak too with the same recipe. Now I had this deer steak cubed or tenderized when I had it packaged. I didn't process it myself. I took it to somebody because I just didn't have the time at the moment. But anyway, we take this deer meat, we're going to rinse it, and then I'm going to put it in the skillet and I'm going to brown it in some oil. On about a medium heat, you're going to put you some little bit of, I use canola oil, but any cooking oil in the skillet, and just let it heat up. You don't have to use a cast iron skillet. It's just what I prefer cooking with. We're going to let that oil heat up just for a minute. Okay, I got my oil heating up in the skillet. I'm going to take my deer meat and get it put in the oil and let it start browning, and I will season it while I'm doing that. Okay, I got my hands washed now. I'm going to season it. Our favorite seasoning is Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning, and I usually also add some garlic powder with it. So we're going to put that on and then get it flipped over in a few minutes. We like seasoning. It don't take long to brown this deer meat, and I guess you can see the tenderized portions of it. That makes a big difference in the taste and the quality of your meat. I remember I had killed a couple of younger deer a few years back, and I'd been cooking them, and oh, it was so good. They were so tender. And then I killed this big old buck several years old, and I had invited some friends over for some deer steak and cooking it like this. They actually had a exchange student that was from out of the country that was staying with them, and she'd never tried deer. And I cooked it this way, and it was so tough. I did not take the time to tenderize it. I just forgot that I needed to. So anyway, make a point to tenderize your deer steak. We'll put a little more seasoning on this since I flipped it. You may want to turn your steak a couple of times as the blood's cooking out. Put a little bit too much cooking oil in here, so I'm going to pour some of it out in just a few minutes after this browns. It's looking good. Won't be long. Alright, there we go. I got some of the oil out. We've just got a thin coating. I left all the good stuff that's stuck to the bottom. I have went ahead and turned my skillet down a little bit. We're going to put this deer meat back in here now. And this is the secret ingredient, guys. Yeah, it's the store brand, but it's cream of mushroom soup. If you don't like cream of mushroom soup, just forget that you don't like it and put it in anyway. I've heard so many things about, oh, I don't like mushrooms. I'm allergic to mushrooms. I've heard everything. But every time somebody eats this, they're like, oh my God, that is so good. So, 2 cans of cream of mushroom, and we're going to put about 1.5 cans of water in there with it. If you're going to cook it longer, if you got some really tough deer meat, you may want to put you 2 whole cans in there. And because the whole idea is we're going to cook this until this mushroom soup gets cooked down to a gravy. Now we're going to go ahead and get it. I got the temperature on high at the moment. Going to let it heat up and get this condensed mushroom soup thinned out. And once it starts to boiling, we're going to cover it and turn the heat down, and we're going to let it simmer for a while. Actually, I'm going to let it simmer about 1.5 hours. And when we get done, I promise you, this is some really good stuff. And it's simple. Anybody can do it. Matter of fact, my daughter called me the other day. I gave her some deer steak. And she called me and says, Daddy, how do you make your deer steak? And I told her. And she made both packs for her and some of her family. And she called me back and said, Daddy, that was so good. And it was simple, too. So this was my mother's recipe, actually. We raised cows when I was growing up. And she was trying to find a way to do something with, well, it was called round steak. And this is the way she would cook it. And then years after they got older and retired and didn't want to get into cows anymore, they sold them. We turned around and she started cooking the deer steak the same way and realized it was great. So that's what we do. Been doing it ever since. Okay, guys, we got it boiling. We're going to just cover it and turn the temperature down and let it simmer for a couple hours. Okay, guys, well, just looky here. This is starting to come together, starting to look just like it's supposed to. It's been cooking now about 45 minutes. You see all the condensed mushroom soup has been dissolved in the water. It's making a real nice gravy. Guys, I promise you, you're not going to taste deer meat. You're not going to taste mushrooms. All you're going to taste is good. So we're going to let this keep simmering now for about another 45 minutes to an hour. This looks like it's already getting kind of tender. And then we'll be right back with you. Okay, guys, deer steak, mashed potatoes with gravy, English peas, and rolls. That's what's for dinner. Well, how is it, Bug?
It's good.
It's good?
Yeah.
You can eat it?
Yeah.
You ain't gonna throw it away?
No.
All right.
I don't know about the peas, but maybe.